these older Christians so captured and invested in Israel?
We need to talk about John Darby and his creation of the theological ideology of dispensationalism, which is the idea that God has two different groups of chosen people. He has the Christians, the church, and then he has the Jews. And so that's where Christian Zionism comes from, is from Darby.
Let's break down the mechanics of how Christians are actually funding this brutality you are witnessing. You see, Israel developed a brilliant plan. They do not have to convince the entire American public to participate in the settler movement. They just have to influence how our pastors think. What they do is fly thousands of pastors out to all expenses paid trips to Israel. And when they get their message across, these pastors return to the United States, where they proceed to funnel hundreds of millions of dollars annually into the settler movement. And the reason pastors do this is they believe that Jewish settlement of these areas is necessary to bring about the second coming of Christ. So essentially, to fulfill this prophecy, they are willing to enable the persecution and suffering of thousands along the way. It's actually insane to read about Jesus in the Bible helping the sick and the broken, and then to look up and see these American churches funding a movement that does not seem to respect Christians or even obey the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's property. I thought we had shared Judeo-Christian values. The cognitive dissonance is hard to understand.
So with that in mind, Christian Zionists think they have this fear through cognitive dissonance that if they oppose Israel for whatever reason, whether they're committing genocide blatantly in the open or not, they're turning their back on God. And that is deathly fearful to their mind, thinking to themselves, if I curse Israel, if I go against Israel, even if they commit a genocide, I'm gonna go to hell maybe. They're just willful idiots to them. They don't care about Christianity. They don't care about Jesus. They hate Jesus. They don't care about America.
Guys, it is fascinating to watch Christian Zionists supporting Israel. After all, it is not going so well for Christians over in that part of the world. For starters, it appears it is culturally normal for Jewish adults and children to spit on Christians. And even Officer Tatum, a known Israeli mouthpiece, told Benjamin Netanyahu to his face that he got spit on when he visited the Holy Land.
We had only one incident where a small child spit on one of the pastors.
And let's be real, Israeli spitting is the least of Christian concerns over there. The IDF routinely prevents Christians from worshiping, and Israel literally bombed the last remaining Catholic church in Gaza.
Tonight, a look at the damage to Gaza's only Catholic church after it was struck by Israeli artillery,
which resulted in the Pope calling the act outright barbarity. Folks, if you are pissing the Pope off, you have to be f***ing up big time. And the craziest thing to me about this is that American Christian Zionists are actively funding this. Their churches donate tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars a year straight to Israel. And it makes me wonder, are these people aware that they are raising money for people that appear not to even like them? Blows my mind.
And to your knowledge, what do Jews believe about Jesus?
From what I've heard, he's desecrating and human shit. Yeah, no, they see him as a false messiah, like terrible narratives about Jesus and about his mother, about Mary. They call her a whore, a harlot. You know, they call Jesus that he's like a bastard, a bastard that he's you know, burning in human excrement. They hate Christians more than they hate Muslims. It is very true that if a Christian were to walk down some areas in Jerusalem or others, that they would be spit on. Like you see, imagine a mother, a father, and children. They tell them, hey, by spit, there's a Christian. Not even talking, they just do it together. They just all do it. It's like a common practice.
My name is Stephen Kapos, and I am a child survivor of the Holocaust in Hungary, Budapest. I was in hiding on false papers, etc., which happened after October 44. Soon after, our location was caught up in the fighting between Germany and the invading Soviet troops. So we had double jeopardy. I think that's an important background to understanding Gaza, because I can relate to their experience both of the destruction and the fighting, as well as the insecurities of hiding.
Yes. Are you Jewish?
I am indeed, yes.
Would you consider yourself to be anti-Semitic?
Of course not.
And I don't either, but this is how you're going to be labeled and I'm going to be labeled just for speaking out about Israel. Have you gotten attacks like that before?
Yes, I have.
How ridiculous do you find them?
Well, totally ridiculous. But my family lost 15 people to the death camps.
In your assessment, do Israelis view Palestinians in the same way that Germans viewed the Jews?
Yes, I'm afraid, to some extent, unfortunately.
Folks, we just saw a snapshot of what is happening every single day to Palestinians. And we uncovered the murder of an American citizen, the imprisonment of an American citizen. And I think we have to start asking ourselves the question, what are we doing aligned with Israel? What are they doing in the world that we agree with from a humanitarian standpoint? And as I speak right now, we are 4 weeks into a war with Iran that arguably they got us into in the first place. And now we see announcements that Trump might send American troops to fight on the ground, but Israel will not commit to any ground troops. And we have to ask, is this really our greatest ally? And I think we all know the answer. How long are we going to back up what is happening to the people in Gaza, the people in Palestine, now the people in South Lebanon? How far is this going to go? I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want my tax dollars to be a part of it. And quite frankly, I'm sick of this. It's depressing to see this, but one way we can get involved is to help fund organizations like Palestine. So I'm going to donate. I encourage you to as well. It's time for us to wake up as a country and decide who are we going to be allied with in this world? Who's going to help our international relationships? Because I think the clear answer is it's not Israel. Once you become aware of what Israel does in the world, it becomes very hard to understand them. Bombing cities to rubble, forced mass expulsions, false flag operations, riots defending grape culture, and extreme systematic oppression. You see, there are many notable areas of Israeli brutality we could cover, but today we are going to focus on the daily terror happening in the Palestinian West Bank. Right now, over 700,000 illegal Israeli settlers are currently taking over internationally recognized Palestinian land, and these settlers are backed by the Israeli military, armed by American guns, and funded in part by Zionist Christian church donations.